Dukect live here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me here on TalkShoe.com. Phone number, as always, if you want to connect to me, Dukect is 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444. And the call ID to connect to me, Dukect, is 92417. What a week, what a week, what a week. I set this up because hopefully there was not going to be anything crazy or anything manageable or stuff like that in pro wrestling and real life, what have you. But there's been a lot of stuff that's been happening lately. And, well, first off, I have to, before I do anything else, I have to give a shout out to MVP for marching at the going to Ferguson, Missouri, and marching with the protesters. A really good thing that was a really positive thing, and a big shout out to him and for sticking up for what he believes in, and everything. That was just really, really, really good stuff there. Props to you, sir. And it's gonna probably make it really awkward in the next couple of weeks when TNA Impact shows him basically saying he wants to be in New York PD. By the way, I love the fact New York PD were looked at as heroes and such. You know, the rest of EC3, the world's greatest wrestler, uh, Rockstar Spud and Rhino, even though basically right now in the United States, not many people hold the police in very positive regard. It's part when MVP's like going this whole tirade, saying that you'll get some people like says you'll get the NYP in a later episode of Impact. MVP will go and talk like, "Holy crap, we're going to be talk like oh well I better be quiet. I'll get the NYPD to get a chokehold on you." Representing the tragic incident a couple weeks ago uh, happened uh, that happened in New York. It was the New York policeman Eric Gantner's just horrible death of him getting chokehold and just because of selling cigarettes, which is completely BS. And you know, yeah, because that's amazing. Just how stupid TNA. The timing and all the other stuff, the booking and everything. Just you could just have some security get them out there. That would have been easier instead of just the arresting or what have you. But TNA, lol, but whatever. But speaking of TNA Impact Wrestling, they're moving to another night. Did you know? Yeah, the shocking thing, TNA Wrestling is moving to Thursday nights to Wednesday nights. Supposedly, the reason why this is because TNA is supposedly really scared of WWE moving SmackDown back to Thursday nights, which personally I don't really care for because the product of SmackDown is complete garbage at this point, and you know that's the case, I don't think the W will hamper NXT, so I don't think they're going to really um, do anything. I don't think they're going to do everything else. So they're trying to move. Supposedly, was not only that, the reason why they're moving to Thursdays is because Thursdays on the fall will be on the NFL Thursday Night Football, which will probably be not only on NFL Network, but also they will be on CBS as well. So Thursday nights are going to be really, really hard for them to get any type of ratings and such. So I think this might be a very positive move as well. But then again, this is really interesting because they only have Spike TV. I don't know why they're going to move the show. And basically just saying that someone said this is a good sign. They really feel like Impact is a TNA Impact Wrestling is a very strong. Basically, they want this thing done. Hopefully they get this done because someone said why did they move the show since they're only under contract for 6 to 7 more weeks. I think this is a good sign that Spike the deal will get done, and hopefully Spike TV does get that 10% that they want to get. They want to get this done. Hopefully TNA Impact they don't sign because they can't find anything else. They're gonna say, fine, here you go. It's gonna be a last minute deal. Dixie Carter's gonna sign up with Spike TV. I hope she does, and that means they are gonna be like, I'm like, they re-sign with Spike, and Spike TV starts doing some other stuff, getting some people in because I heard Bellator got better when Spike TV and Viacom got to it. So hopefully things will continue to grow. That's my hope. That's my hope right now. I want this to work. I want positive stuff, man. I'm trying to get positive stuff. All this negativity and stuff that's going on right now in the real world, in the wrestling world, or whatever. I want some positive things to happen. I don't want TNA to go away. I don't want WWE getting more powerful. Someone saying, "Oh, just go to New Japan," all that type of stuff. New Japan doesn't really have a base here in America. You can have your independent stuff there, but the WWE in the United States is king. Jeff Jarrett's promotion is, I don't know, they got some talent. I think AAA Mexico and New Japan, they're doing something. I don't know if Jeff Jarrett joined the Bullet Club of all things. Oh, yes, Jeff Jarrett joining the Bullet Club. Because, sure, why not? Make that group even more like the NWO, people. I don't seriously. I might not even buy because I was considering buying a Bullet Club T-shirt. I don't know I want to do that right now because Jeff Jarrett has one. I'm like, it's tainted. Jeff Jarrett taints it. He taints it, people. He's tainting it. He's tainting the Bullet Club. I'm sorry. If this turns out that honestly, in the next 2 3 weeks, I find out he's New Japan World Champion after El Kabong, AJ Styles, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done. I like bye. I don't care. Anyway, I hope this works. I really hope that this might be. I want this to work, and I hopefully they're not bound for bake. Because honestly, I just saw this thing. Oh goodness. I'll put it up right there. You watch it on screen right now. TNA bound for bankruptcy. I hope that's not the case. I don't want it, but it's funny, but I don't want it to be the case because I do want this company to survive. Speaking of TNA, I just started shooting the TNA Slamverse review. Yes, uh, all that stuff for shooting, and after this, I'm gonna do the audio, and after that, it will be done. I just gotta wait on the cameos, and after the cameos are done, I can just relax and I just like there it is. I got the video stuff done. Now it's gonna put the audio in there, and then I'm good to go. I'll probably start. I will probably do the audio tomorrow, and set everything else up there. Well, I'm gonna take a. Wow, that was long. I'll take a small little break here. Listen to some more OC remix stuff here. I know you love the OC remix. You know, I would play actual songs, but you know the RIAA or everything else we copyright and flag. But hey, you know what? We haven't flagged the OC remix stuff yet, so I'm gonna keep playing that. Next up is some stuff uh the brand new album from OC Remix, Super Mario 64, Portrait of the Plumber. It is going to be Roads to Everywhere. Thank you so much for listening to Dukect Lounge live on TalkShoe.com. And we'll be right back right after this. Thank you so much for joining me, Duke CT. And we are back live here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me, Duke CT. And well, let's talk a little WWE for you. Oh man, SummerSlam is next is this Sunday, and there's a lot of things happening, a lot of matches happening, interesting matches right now, and let's see what right now. Well, what's the big match? What are the matches on the WWE now? There's still more matches to be announced. You don't know how much is going to happen. So let's take a look at it. First up, we have we don't have a pre-show. There's going to be a pre-show match. So I don't know what they're going to be doing with the pre-show, and I don't care for the pre-show because the pre-show is meaningless. Um, let's see. Let's see. Uh, let's see what else is happening. Let's see what matches. Okay, we have the flag match as the Super Athletes Rusev with Lana, the nice looking Lana, taking on a real American Jack Swagger and Jeb Coulter. The match was okay for the first time around. It was a bit short, but okay. Here's hoping that the match will be a bit longer and see, because Rusev eventually has to be big monster, has to take some longer matches eventually. I mean, you know, even Warrior had to take a longer matches, but then again, he had people to guide him. Guys like, say, guys you might not heard about, Hulk Hogan and uh, Randy Savage. So, you know, even the guys who are limited need to go those long matches. Because Rusev is impressive, looks impressive in these short bursts. Let's see if he can. I want to see if he can hang enough deep, or let's see if he can hang with go deep in the water and such. Let's see how far he can go. And I think this match will be semi-interesting. Jack Swagger gets the victory as Rusev still claims undefeated. Next up is the revenge match: Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho. Jericho wins, and I mean, honestly, the first match was really slow. As much as I like Jericho, I think it just for that match really showed that both guys have no chemistry with each other. Bray Wyatt is cold. I expect Bray Wyatt to come back and really just hopefully win the match. I hope Bray wins, and because I want him to be successful, he needs this victory. And I think Bray needs to actually start doing something I want him to be meaningful. That's what I think he needs to be. He needs to be really meaningful. Bray Wyatt needs to be meaningful. And he needs to actually start winning matches and then finally take down Chris Jericho. After he takes them down, I want him to start building himself up again. Um, Personally, I wish he would have. I honestly wish he was the one feuding with Daniel Bryan after WrestleMania instead of Kane. I would just lined up right then and there, but instead, you had Kane just lumbering around. Yeah, terrible. Well, overall, I think this probably would be the most, probably will be the worst match of the card. Um, Next up is, ladies and gentlemen, is grudge match. Would be the worst match card except for this one. The Viper Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Ooh, boys and girls, this is going to be a really, really. I honestly think it's going to be probably a very piss poor match because Randy Orton has, and he is talented. Randy Orton is really good. Probably one of the best wrestlers in this generation, but he tends to really be very methodical. And with Roman Reigns, he's more of the hit, just really go quickly, just goes up, punch, kick, very fast, house of fire tag matches, but never really proven himself as a really good singles match guy yet. Because they had a one-on-one match him and Bray Wyatt, and that match sucked. Seriously, that match was terrible. But let's see. But honestly, I think maybe this kind of chance to be good if Randy Orton really picks up the slack and actually, could might have some chemistry. I don't know. But Roman Reigns, I hope this is going to be it because he's supposedly getting paired up for the WrestleMania push. If this thing wets the bed, which I expect it to be, I think it's going to. I think if Roman Reigns is going to win, he should win, and hopefully builds up to his match against Triple H. Um, and I don't think the match is going to be all that good. Next up is the Divas Championship match as the Black Widow AJ Lee taking on Paige. I still don't care for either. I don't care. I wish it was Naomi with the Divas title. I don't care for AJ. I don't care for Paige. I just don't care if either of these characters are wrestlers. I just because honestly, people were touting, oh, Paige and Edge just got the greatest match ever, and they completely just bored and just bored myself and probably bored a lot of people in the audience and shocked people like, man, these two have no chemistry with each other. No chemistry with each other. And they just had, and the pacing of the match was completely and utterly just too slow. And they just didn't really know what to do with each other. And I'm hopeful Paige gets, because honestly, I do watch some of the stuff on NXT. She's good, but honestly, it just reminds me of the next. She reminds me so much of Gail Kim. Gail Kim, once upon a time, won the women's championship at first, and then she fell away completely after just winning and then losing. She fell away completely into obscurity, and after that, she went to TNA, got better. A better, she was the first knockout champ, which I still see something like that happening with Paige. She won the title way too early, in my opinion. Once you win a championship, that's the high point of the division. That's it. I mean, there's no chase. There's nothing. That's the problem. There's no chase. And when the chase is gone, there's no point whatsoever. So I have Paige winning. I just don't care. I want Naomi in this, but I don't care. Anyway, next up is the Intercontinental Championship match as the Moneymaker, The Miz. The Moneymaker is not his ass, but his face. Taking on the show-off Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. Yes. Remember The Miz and Dolph Ziggler was rendered to be important? Remember they were former World Championship contenders and former World Champions? Remember how important they said they were going to be the keystones in the WWE's future? Now they're basically fighting for a pointless championship. Miz wins and Ziggler continues to be irrelevant. In fact, both will continue to be irrelevant. Seriously, the Miz is so bad, and Miz is so bad at getting responses. It's kind of like he's a Bertie Del Rio. Which, by the way, there's some more stuff happening with that, and I'll talk to that later on the show. And then next, we have the Lumberjack match. chosen by Dean Ambrose because reasons. I have no idea why. He did the same thing with the cage match, taking on Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose picking the stipulation. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins would be a very good match. I think it'd be a very awesome. I think these two will have really good match. But I expect this match to be screwed up intentionally. I think those guys. I think it's going to be a screw job. Seth Rollins will win thanks to being a screw job by the Lumberjacks, and Dean will look like a damn fool. Ah, yes, because that makes complete sense. You know, the stipulation of saying no holds barred or something like that. Maybe they're building to Hell in a Cell. But I don't think this is the best way to do it. Or heck, maybe they'll just have. Oh, this is something even crazier. How about before the match, the Lumberjacks just beat the crap out of Dean Ambrose and the match doesn't take place again? So they have to move the date off until Hell in a Cell. Oh, that'd just be completely funny and sad because they can't really, and people will be pissed off in the network. Uh, anyway, and now we get to the semi-main event, which actually is probably the best booked um, quite honestly, the best book feud in this. I mean, other than Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, this match right here is probably getting the most build and hype. As Stephanie McMahon takes on Brie Bella. Oh boy, where do I begin? This storyline started off with such promise, such interest, such easy, simple ways. Stephanie McMahon makes Nikki Bella, Brie's sister's life a living hell. After Brie Bella quits to defend her husband, for saying that, oh yeah, for saying if you don't give up your WWE Championship, that will knock you. But in the end, he had to give it up because his doctor is, well, said that he cannot wrestle. So anyway, Brie Bella lost her job for nothing. And then you had the life of Stephanie McMahon making Nikki Bella's life a living hell. Then Brie Bella, you know, Brie Bella, forcing Stephanie McMahon to physically assault her and then getting her arrested. And then after the charges and everything, she built, she gets a wish of a match, getting herself reinstated with the company, but also a match between Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella. Fine. The crowd really liked this storyline. Personally, I think Stephanie and Brie will be very good. I think this could be a good storyline. But then this week's Raw happened. Oh Lord, this week's Raw happened. How? I just wow. Oh man. Oh wow. Oh good. Sweet Christmas. Wow. I have two words for you. Claire Lynch. That's right. WWE went to the TNA. They look at TNA and they look at every bit of storyline. They say, you know what this needs? It needs probably one that W. It needs this storyline, this hot storyline. It needs one of the worst. It actually was so bad it got the Gooker of 2012, the Claire Lynch saga. They took that and said Daniel Bryan's physical therapist, Megan Miller, um, said that she has an affair with Daniel Bryan. And guess what was trending on Twitter? Claire Lynch. And I love this thing on Twitter, what have you, with Christopher Daniels said on Twitter. He said, "Look, that shit wasn't exactly." And then he says, "Look, I wasn't responsible for this. me and Frank Kazarian wasn't responsible." I laughed out loud. In fact, this is the only way to get Christopher Daniels, Frank Kazarian, and AJ Styles in the WWE. I would take it. But Lord, no, they're not. I mean, that's the only real positives of the Carolyn saga was that it had some really good matches and it was the rise of Bad Influence. Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, best tag the world. See, world tag team champions of the world. They're two planets of greatness. Seriously, I don't see this coming for the WWE. I'm not kidding you. I don't see it. it's going to be really bad. Then you have Brie getting arrested again. And I haven't heard because of the whole fake that terrible yes lock she put on Stephanie, and Stephanie had like, look, it was hilarious. But then Brie Bella getting arrested, I honestly didn't care. They just could just have to, you know what? They could just easily had the contract signing like 2 weeks ago, what have you, and just had them pedigree. But yeah, Stephanie pedigreeing them, great, builds them up, fine, whatever. But this right here really just the stupidity of WWE astounds me, but it shouldn't surprise me. It shouldn't. But by God, they do it. The WWE somehow, some way, they do it. The WWE just, I mean, you're looking saying, how can they completely screw up a storyline? Give it time, they will. Something so simple and they screw it up. It is just, you have to be in awe of it. It's beautiful. Bree, I want to say Bree wins, but knowing this is going to continue. Why? It should be a one-off. Stephanie wins via help with Nikki Bella. I hope it's not the case, but I think the storyline is going to win, going off because Nikki will do a heel turn, or someone's turning heel because of stupid stuff. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, during the broadcast. I'm making this right now. I'm putting this up out there before this SummerSlam gets out. I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee it's a guarantee that Megan Miller, or whatever her name is, the physical therapist against Daniel Bryan, saying that I say she had an affair, she's gonna come out and say, I'm pregnant during this storyline with Daniel Bryan's bastard child. That's what's gonna happen. I guarantee it. WWE's gonna roll with it because it's going to be a complete nightmare. And now we get to our main event. The World Heavyweight Championship match as John Cena, the leader of the C Nation, takes on the man who did the impossible and conquered the Undertaker streak, which was probably one of the worst matches of WrestleMania history. In fact, probably now, yes, it was one of the worst matches in WWE history. Made me fall asleep, which I didn't think was actually possible at WrestleMania. I watched it and I fell asleep. It was that boring. Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. This match is going to be at least good. I know that. I want to say Brock Lesnar wins because it will be the shot in the arm that WWE needs. They need this shot in the arm because the subscribers, which by the way, after September, I think it's going to be a really low account unless they renew because of this. If this pay per view is big, if after SummerSlam, if they fuck up SummerSlam, if the WWE fucks up SummerSlam, if they do, ladies and gentlemen, if they screw this up by having John Cena beat Brock Lesnar, which I think is going to happen, which that would be my prediction, because the WWE knows in its heart they can't do it. They will waste it. They will waste it. They will waste the streak as much as they already did with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They wasted it already. They'll waste it even more after John Cena beating. That's my prediction. When that happens, which I guarantee it will, you will see an exodus like none other. They will say, yep, I bought it for WrestleMania, seen Cena, not renew, bye. And it's going to be a drop quicker than, that subscriber base is going to drop faster than Amazon stock. And by the end of September, you might see from 70,000, 700,000, maybe 600 to 500,000 to 400,000. Hell, might be down to 300,000, maybe even lower. And I know XD69 is like, oh man, you're crazy. I'm losing my mind. Hopefully I'm not. But this stuff right here, this SummerSlam, because the past pay-per-views have been mediocre at best. That's the best. Mediocre. The past thing, I mean, it has become so bad that even though I wouldn't even torrent this stuff, I had the WWE Network. Hell, I'm questioning not to renew that. I will probably stay on to the WWE Network because I got some interesting stuff with the shows and everything else. But but honestly, I would not be surprised if people, if the things go according to plan. By the way, they spoiled this, by the way, 2 months early. Instead of having this whole stuff build up to as John Cena and Brock Lesnar, almost like 2 months ago, basically just saying, yeah, spoiling Money in the Bank and Battleground. Great work, WWE. Um, if having John Cena win, I honestly, or what have you, the only thing that would make sense is if Seth Rollins, who's still Money in the Bank, comes in and cashes on him and beats Cena. That's the only thing that will probably make it at least somewhat better. But if not, hell, why not? It will make sense. But still, I don't know. I expect for the best and I'm preparing for the worst. A heck of a lot worse. Anyway, I'm going to be taking a small little break. And we'll be right back. I'll be talking some WWE Network news and some interesting stuff about Alberto Del Rio. And after that, I'll get to Mass Effect's some video game news. Yeah, some video game news. That something really, really, really big going on with certain big someone who was really effective directing Mass Effect um, is leaving Bioware. So I will be talking about that live here on the Dukect Lounge. We'll be right back right after this. So stay tuned and listen to some more OC Remix. And some more Subaru 64 Portrait of the Plumber. Right back after this. Here on the Dukect Lounge. Your phone number, as always, is 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444. And the call ID to connect to me, Dukect, is 92417. Once again, the call ID is 92417. Now, let's see. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, WWE Network. Everybody likes WWE Network. WWE Network is booming. Everyone likes I like and everything else. And they're doing the worldwide launch. Uh, and it should have been happening earlier, but whatever. They're doing it now. But guess what? The WWE Network is not doing so well in Canada. In fact, the WWE Network is supposedly well. First off, the price point is $2 more. It's at $9.99 a month. It's $11.99 a month. And supposedly they have, they only have scheduled programming and no access to the app or on-demand programming. So, and here's another thing that really basically that this whole thing, the W Network, so they have no on-demand, no app, no anything, so you can't even plug this thing on your TV, your smart TV, your Riku boxes, Roku, I don't know, Roku, Goku boxes, I don't know. But so make a picture of the Roku box with Goku's hair. But I'm not big enough to get that. But someone making fan art of that. Hopefully one day. But You can't get any like if you have for game consoles for the 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4. You can't get that on the PC. No, the only thing you can do is schedule programming. And on top of all that, ladies and gentlemen, all that and everything before they had it all exactly, but even still, according to this article on ProWrestling.net, is that which is interesting. The Rod because you know what, a huge portion of Canadian fans are are coming around the network because they do not live within the area that Rogers Cable in Canada. Only I think Lance Storm tweeted this. I'll bring the link in the tweet in the description. Is that Rogers only covers what 20%? Let me hear this again. 20% of Canada. So basically, 80% of people who do want to watch a network, who want to watch in their provinces, they can't. They have no other way to get there. And not only that, it costs a lot more than the United States version, and they don't have just scheduled programming, and they have no access to their app or on demand and everything else. So basically, it's a broken down, cheaper version of the stuff here in the United States. Some say, well, they'll get their, hopefully they'll get everything bugs worked out. Eventually, they'll have everything up there in the network, but in Canada eventually. But stuff like this, ladies and gentlemen, brings on piracy because are they going to just hijack the thing? The U.S. they will find a way to get I'm not saying, but they'll find ways, like a lot of people have, to get the United States version of the network because they do not. People are like, I do not want to go through all this super. If you make the legal version, basically the legal version, like impossible to get or inferior to other people, they're going to get that version because people do what they look at the American version and they want that, and you're not going to get that, And people they will do anything else, or they're just going to pirate and torrent everything. And this is a way that people are going. Reason why people pirate and torrent is when because they want the content. They want the content. And when the piracy has a better service, guess what people are going to do? They're going to go to get the better service. And if pirates have a better service, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're going to go where the pirates are. Duh. Uh, what have you? It just makes no gosh gone sense. Hmm. You know, you know, you know, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Um, just that, just you know, you know, that's just it really bothers when you just do all this type of stuff. It just yeah, it's stupid. It's really stupid. I hope. I just really hope. Um, anyway, I have to talk about it. There's supposedly some interesting stuff about Alberto Del Rio. And here's a Bleacher Report right here. Um, supposedly, um, supposedly, you've had this. I think it was last. I think it was this week. Yeah, it was this week as Alberto Del Rio was fired, or no, released by the WWE for unprofessional behavior. Supposedly, um, supposedly, what happened is allegedly the social media manager for WWE, Cody Barbarelli, made a joke stating that Alberto Del Rio was a busboy, and Del Rio then confronted Barbarelli and saying, please, I don't know, was it forceful or was it angrily struck? I don't know. but he wanted an apology. Burley didn't want to go to uh, did not want to apologize. Um, did not want to apologize, and for whatever reason, just slapped him. Just got so angry he just slapped him. Supposedly slapped him multiple times, and this happened, and now supposedly, if this is a very since Rio, this stuff was something happened, a lot of people are like saying what's happening. Well, I personally Del Rio shouldn't have slapped him. But then again, look at the work environment he's in the WWE, because reporting to HR doesn't really mean much. And he's like, and he really was frustrated at the company anyway. So I'm not saying I'm not regarded, because honestly, Del Rio did a bad thing. You should never physically hurt anyone in the department. You don't, physically violence is a bad thing. It's horrible and all this type of stuff, regardless of what he said. Regardless of what he said, that is not supposed to be a good work environment. You can't slap employees. That's physical violence or what have you. You know, and even though back in the day in old school or something like that happened, that would be handled by saying, hey, slapping somebody up and saying pop pop, setting up would have been okay in WWE. In fact, that still is the mindset over there in some cases. Um, but that's why I think they and then they didn't want Barbarelli to have a lawsuit and everything else, so they got rid of Del Rio. But then the stuff got on Twitter, and Del Rio used the social media manager used the WWE's Twitter to say that the WWE fan base would be angry not at the wrestling character, but the athlete playing the character and everything else. They wanted to do that, which something really happened. Some people really didn't like that. But then again, if he's saying some racist comments, if Barbarelli is making racist comments, there should be something for him as well. I'm not excusing Del Rio. I'm not saying he should not have. In fact, I think he should have been fired because physically assaulting an employee is wrong and he should be fired. But Barbarelli, I mean, he did, but Del Rio did come up saying apologize, but yeah, he said no, and Del Rio just slapped him, even though supposedly he was gonna slap Kevin Dunn, which would have been hilarious. But now with all this type of stuff, um, supposedly, um, um, now this stuff comes out right here. 41 Mania.com and everything and all this type of stuff is that Alberto Rio has been getting because after leaving he started working in AAA. In fact, he is now being ton publicity in Sunday's Showman show in Mexico City, in Mexico, what have you. And since this fund has been reported in Mexico, this people did not like the racist joke in Mexico. So, yeah, Mexicans only good for being busboys or what have you, which that's wrong. But yeah, a lot of people they're behind him, and he can't use Alberto Del Rio's main name anymore. He's now, I think, El Patreon. I think that's what he is. I don't. Yeah, I think that's his name. Um, yeah, that all this type of stuff. Which this I don't know. Well, that's what his name is. El Patreon. I think that's might be his name. Supposedly, both TNA and AAA want him to. Yeah, it is El Patreon. So I'm gonna go put. It was now called El Patreon. That means I had to go to Patreon.com and be his patronage. I don't know, but I don't know about that. But um, that's what that's what's happening right here, and he's saying that Brother Real says AAA is his new home. Where he's supposedly there's an interview right here. Um, an interview with PW Inside says Ed Alberto Del Rio. It says that AAA Mexico is his new home. He's trying to stay in the immediate future. He says Alberto is saying who no longer uses that name, in particular saying WL is a trademark. and now he used El Patron, which was used as a nickname by Ricardo Rodriguez during his ring introductions in the past and also Spanish commentary. WWE just forgot to trademark it. El Patron said that he won't be able to wrestle in Triple A for at least 90 days, but he's trying his absolute best to get his lawyers to get an injunction to allow him to wrestle at Triple Mania this Sunday, which of course is getting to get massive heat on WWE from wrestling fans for not letting him work. El Petro says that when he's able to compete in AAA, he wants to face whoever the heavyweight champion is, and called out Hurl del Texano, Hijo del Texano. Uh, I can't pronounce anything. I'm sorry. Um, so it looks like he's going to be at Technical, aka Babyface in Mexico. While Patron was asked for details regarding his firing by WWE, and he said he couldn't talk about that due to legal issues, but said that he will talk about it more in a couple of weeks. El Patron was also asked about the rumors of Rey Mysterio being happening in WWE and returning to Triple A. He said he doesn't really know about the situation, which is where Roland stepped in and said Mysterio is still under contract with WWE, and as long as that's the case, the AAA will not temper him. But if something would happen down the road, then he would be open to him returning to the promotion, which is interesting and very, very, very interesting because I mean the WWE has been trying so hard. I mean, really hard to get the Latino audience, the Mexican audience. I mean, they haven't really got that Mexican audience since I think Guerrero passed away, and Rey Mysterio. I mean, in fact, the people who did drew hard for the Mexican audience was Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and believe it or not, Batista. Yeah, Batista. Yeah, the Latino audience really cared for Batista. Um, they haven't really struck fire. They tried to get Alberto Del Rio, and well, that didn't work with bad story. With just Del Rio, him just having this. He really had some lukewarm stuff because the WWE tried their best, and when they try their best, I mean they screw up more often than not. I mean seriously, they completely screwed up Del Rio. Even though he was getting some good face stuff, they completely bear. I mean, they just could not do anything with it. I'm just amazed by that. I'm amazed how stupid the WWE can do with everything else. It's amazing how they this type of stuff. It's amazing how they just screw everything up. With everything like this is because they haven't really drawn well in Mexico, only drawing 2,000 to 4,000 and thinking they're going to draw 10 plus thousand crowds. And with Alberto Rio and Sin Cara not really hitting the mark, I don't know what they're going to do now. They need to start hitting the worldwide audience. And when the WWE Network does in Mexico, I don't think it's going to be a big seller. And if this continues to grow, I would not be surprised if somehow I mean, if TNA is still around, which I'm hopeful they are, stay on Spike, and they do get TNA somehow gets him, I think it'd be a big catch because a lot of people feel sorry for him. They are pissed off at Alberto Del Rio. They are pissed off at how Alberto Del Rio was really treated by the WWE, and this could be a really big thing for him if um, I think this is right now. Because they can't. I honestly don't think they're gonna sell the WWE Network in Mexico because all this stuff is being it's touted all over the news in Mexico. So I don't think this is gonna be a really positive thing for them at all. It's gonna be really bad for them. So anyway, um, I hope things work out, but I just think it's gonna be really bad for the WWE in Canada and in Mexico. They can't get exactly WWE. The only place they're doing well is in America, in the United States, but the rest of North America, well, they aren't doing too well. They're not doing good in Canada. Sure, the people in Canada with Rogers Cable and all that type of stuff, and they're not doing it because a lot of people in Mexico do not like WWE now, and they treat it as one of their own. They don't like it. So that's going to be really fun. Anyway, we'll be taking another break, and now we'll be talking a bit about um, Casey Hudson, ladies and gentlemen, as he supposedly, because he is now leaving Bioware, and what does that leave for the Mass Effect? And also, what's the effect? all the stuff he was working on Bioware and the next Mass Effect games and stuff he was working on. We'll be right back right after this here live on the Duke CT Lounge. Thank you so much for listening to me, Duke CT. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back live here on the Duke Speaking Lounge. Man, this is a really long one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one. Don't worry, I'll edit it down so it won't be as long. Now, I have been having long ones lately. Usually it's just like 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's like, and hopefully next week, hopefully nothing crazy happens. And I'll try to keep it short. If you want me to continue to make it short, long, please leave a comment or something like that. Because some things these podcasts go a bit long. If you want me to cut them up to a point on part one or part two, please let me know. If not, well, I will continue doing what I'm doing. But these podcasts are getting way too long for you. Anyway, lastly, we had some video game news. This is reported this week on Sunday, actually. Mass Effect 3 director Casey Hudson has left Bioware. This is amazing. This is really interesting. As Casey Hudson was, um, he made a lot of hits, including I think he was right there for in fact, recently for the Mass Effect series. This was a very, not only that, but he was responsible for MDK2, a game I'm going to be getting to for eventually. Baldur's Gate 2, Neverwinter Nights, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, a lot of people love that game. Jade Empire, which is okay. I messed around with the combat too simplified for me. But overall, the story is good. And the Mass Effect series. To me, Casey Hudson, um, to me, made probably one of the best sci-fi series. I honestly thought that Mass Effect, to me, was probably this generation. And I will say this with no hyperbole or anything. It's something coming from me. This is real from my heart. I honestly believe that the Mass Effect series, warts and all, is this generation's Star Trek, Star Wars, in that pantheon. I think it's right up there. With its great lore, great history. Even they fumbled the ball with the ending, and they did. And I honestly think they really did fumble the ball with the ending, and what have you. Even the remake stuff helped it a bit, but yeah. But overall, I really did like the stuff, and there's some really good stuff there. And I liked most of the stories, the the uh, everything else. I really thought this was probably one of the best series. I love replaying it. It's just really good knowing which side, which everything else. I really just I love the Mass Effect series. I do. Um, I I I really just I just really think this is one of the best series I ever. Uh, it's probably one of the best series I ever played. It's no joke. And even though that they are actually they actually made a couple films and such, Mass Effect Paragon Lost, which I will get to eventually. In fact, I will be talking about that soon, hopefully by the end of this year. Um, if things go according to plan, if y'all guys want to talk about that, because I did I saw it a couple of years ago. I really liked it, and I'm gonna rewatch it again. I will probably do a review of it last week standing and such. I think it's something. It looks like something really. I really do like it. Um, yeah, I really do like the series. Even though they still are trying to talk about a Mass Effect movie and such. Yeah, this seriously. With Mass, I mean seriously. The way Casey Hudson made these games, he made a very huge a part of gaming. It is. I mean, it is a huge standpoint of gaming, and now he's leaving for all of his. He's leaving the studio, which is surprising. Um, in his blog post, he's talked about this. He says that quote, after what already feels like a lifetime of extraordinary experiences, I have decided to hit the reset button and move on from Bioware. I'll take a much needed break and get perspective on what I really want to do with the next phase of my life, and eventually take on a new set of challenges. And he struggled with this, saying this was difficult decision in his career. Bioware is a magical place. Is as magical a place it is when it started, and and now this is a question is now what are they going to do with Mass Effect 4, and how this whole thing is going to they're going to uh, a lot of people might not. It's not really positive. Bioware is not really positive with some sexual gamers who didn't like the Dragon Age or the next Mass Effect stuff. They really are trying because the next Dragon Age Inquisition are out there trying to win them back, and Mass Effect they've lost a lot of people's trust here. And I'm hopeful. My hope is that they win those people back from Dragon Age Inquisition. I haven't played the Dragon Age games. I heard they're good. I might pick them up. Maybe pick them up and everything. I might pick them up. But Dragon Age Inquisition, hopefully it's a good game because I think something with Bioware and such like this used to be, and the keyword is used to be something of a positive thing. And you need to have that. You need to have that positive stuff, that positive energy. That's my hope for BioWare. I hope that they actually start because I want them to continue. I want them to get back on the saddle. That's my hope. I could be wrong, but I think that something like this will dramatically affect the next Mass Effect 4. And I hope it does. I really hope that they learn the lesson. They have to take their exploration and take place in another galaxy in the same timeline. I don't know how that's going to work. I wish they could have. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's going to be very interesting to talk about this stuff and how this thing's going uh, to really take hold. Is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing? We don't know. I'm hoping for the best, man. I'm hoping for the best. I hope that this thing settles and we have a great game. I want this thing to be great. That's my hope. Well, that's just my personal thing. Anyway, that's it for the Dukect Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's over an hour, and woo, what now? Yeah, I'll edit some of it down. Hopefully, it won't be that much of a painful experience for you. And hopefully next week it will be just back to the normal 30 minutes. Hopefully, I hope we get back to 30 to 25 minutes so we can just sit back and just get it in and out, and you can go back to your life. Hopefully, my talking isn't boring to you. Remember, it's going to be on live on YouTube, Screw Attack. Let's see. That Guy Gasses forums, as um, Rise of the Critics, Zipcast, not a Blip because they kicked me off. By the way, fuck you, Blip. Um, let's see, where else? Yeah, basically it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, Dukesy. This is Dukesy here. Peace, love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.